wanna be a martyr in this war.
This story starts on January 20, 1942. We left Edwards at 2:45 after a hectic morning as CQ, including a jam with Whitney. A rather dull and thoughtful trip, excepting a battle in the car forward of mine. Buddy Lorenz was the spirited center. We arrived at the Brooklyn Navy Yard at 8:45 and waited, half frozen in a long line, to board the transport. Our transport was Santa Elena, and we boarded her at midnight, a jammed, confused hellhole. Conditions are terrible. I gave up the bunk allotted to me and slept on the floor forward on B deck. On January 21st, everything's balled up as usual. I waited in a maze of lines for 3 hours and advanced about 30 feet towards mess hall, and then I gave up. Managed to find an empty bunk in a cabin on B deck, and I moved in, but I waited 4 hours until I finally had a bit of supper. The next day, January 22nd, was a good day. Chuck got me off the boat to do some work for him on some gas equipment, and we went most of the day eating and drinking beer. January 23rd, though, it's anchors away at 7:10 a.m. Forlornly, I watched New York fade in the distance. God knows where we're going, what lies ahead. My doubts are many, and not very cheerful. But by the next day, January 24th, things are getting organized. 2 meals a day, with an hour's wait for each. The Army is 100% waiting and wondering. I moved to Mel's cabin the next day, up in officers' country on A deck. 3 nurses live next door, and one's a dream. Too bad I don't own an officers' bar. From January 25th to January 30th, we've settled into a routine. We play bridge, poker, and I read a lot. At night I watch the waters go by and think of better days, of Maddie, Vivian, Ruth, and what might have been. On January 31st, we're docked at Colon in Panama at 8 a.m. No liberty. Spent the day looking at lazy natives around the docks and at the cool palm-studded town. On February 1st, we started through the Panama Canal at 2 a.m. It's quite a wonder of engineering. We are into the Pacific and docked at Balboa at around 11:30 a.m. and we're off again at 4:20. Destination is still a secret. The first 3 weeks of February are a dull, lazy existence on the blue Pacific waters. We've had a few submarine scares. Our escort knocked off at least 3 of them. Lots of cards and reading. We're going to Australia. Each night I sit alone on an abandoned ship rope ladder and watch the sea take me farther from home. I keep wondering if I will ever see them going the other way again. All in all, I think too damn much. Sighted the bleak barren shores and reefs of Australia. No sight of civilization there, but on February 26, we dropped anchor in Melbourne Harbor at 10 a.m. The city sure looks good. We pulled up to the dock at noon. Everyone was excited and impatient to debark. At 9:30 p.m. we debarked and hurried confusion. An air raid was expected any minute. We hiked a mere but never-ending 6 miles to a beautiful park not unlike Boston's public gardens. We were cheered and warmly greeted by the people who lined the streets of our route. Finally, I bedded down with Dave at 1 a.m., completely bushed and aching all over. Some anti-aircraft fire was heard around 1:30, but it was a friendly plane. On February 28th, I hiked back to the dock and immediately boarded a curious train for Ballarat. A wonderful ride through country hills and quaint towns. Arrived at the medium-sized city of Ballarat at 2:30 p.m. The city had coffee and sandwiches waiting for us at the depot. And by 3:30, I found myself billeted with a swell young couple, Mr. and Mrs. Eric Harwood of Seagar Street. After a really good dinner, I took off to locate my barracks bag. En route, I found a pub and enjoyed some excellent beer with native Aussies. We are quite a sensation here, being almost the first Yankee troops to arrive. Kids hound us for autographs, pennies, and all kinds of souvenirs. They are swell people.